Hello, and welcome to Adulthood is a Project, the show where two sisters discuss the lessons learned and growth earned through the realities of life. I'm Charlie, and this is my sister Casey, and we're your hosts.
In today's episode, we'll discuss checking reviews. We'll also discuss the ins and outs of why reviews matter. Let's get started. So, checking reviews, do you check reviews from newest to oldest, or do you do like a combination of 1-star reviews and 5-star reviews to kind of get a balanced idea? Or I guess, more specifically for you, sister, I guess I would even ask if you know where the review section is.
Fair question. I would say, yes, I know where the review section is. I think we should mention here before we get started that we are mainly talking about Google reviews. Personally, I just find Yelp to be a farce. And if you just read reviews on customers' websites, it's just the good stuff because obviously a company's not going to put the bad reviews on their website. So we are talking mainly Google reviews. But Amazon, I read Amazon reviews like when I'm not super sure about a purchase I'm going to make. I try to take I'd say I do a balanced opinion of the good reviews and the bad, like the 1 and the 5 stars. And I just kind of go the newest to the oldest. Because sometimes those old reviews, something's changed since someone put a bad review and the company has already fixed it or something like that.
So I honestly didn't know that you even knew how to read a review.
Well, it's hit and miss for me if I choose to.
I gotta say that based on our last hotel experience, I'm gonna guess it's more miss.
So that one, I just gotta say, I kind of eyeballed the reviews, and it was a 3.5, 4 star.
It was definitely not even 3.5.
It was. So for our listeners, we were going to Texas to visit our niece and nephew and hang out for our great niece's first birthday. And I said, I'll get us a hotel room. And so I get on the website. I look at a couple reviews. It was a Days Inn. I thought those were decent hotels, honestly. Couldn't remember the last time I stayed at one, but it didn't seem like that big of a deal to me. So I get there before Casey does, and I'm checking in the room. And as I get in the room, I'm like, this is bad. And I'm in my head thinking, should I call and tell her or just wait till she shows up to see what's going on? I just knew she was not going to be happy with it. As I'm sitting there, do I just prep her for what's happening here or wait? She calls me, and I was like, well, she already called. And sure enough, she's like, didn't you read the reviews? And I'm like, no, not really, but I guess I should have.
Now, here's what I'm going to point out. Charlie had been bragging it up about how she had found this great hotel the last time she had been down to visit our niece and nephew. Just bragged it up.
Okay, let me tell you that I did find that awesome hotel for a super cheap rate. And our nephew-in-law, whatever, he says, I think that's a pay by the hour. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a really nice place. It's a fresh remodel. It's got a rain shower head. It is nice. If it's pay by the hour, I'm happy with it. It was not pay by the hour. I paid regular price for a 3-day stay. But I was completely shocked at this awesome hotel I got with this not great reviews and a apparent pay by the hour reputation there in town. And so I'm like, no, it's fine. I find great hotels.
Yeah, she bragged it all up, saying, I found the best hotel. So I had gotten on the website that she sent me earlier. She had sent me a website being like, here, check out our hotel. And I'm looking at the reviews, and I am scared. I'm nervous because all these reviews are talking about cockroaches and bed bugs and just trashiness. So I was scared. But I thought, I'm going to trust her.
Yeah, because at no point did you say, hey, dude, these reviews suck. Are you sure you want to book this?
I assumed
you didn't
it was
say
the
anything.
Same hotel. I assumed it was the same hotel you found last time.
Well, I couldn't remember the name of the one I found the last time. And I even left a dang Google review on it. And I was like, what the heck was that hotel? I couldn't remember. And I thought
So
these were usually okay.
you thought the Days Inn was okay?
Yeah. I don't.
Oh man,
You didn't. If you were that concerned, you could have said, "Is this the same hotel?" Because let's face it, like you're a little bougier than I can be about stuff like that.
okay. I do not consider myself bougie at all, like at all. And okay, I would also say Days Inn. I don't know.
You wouldn't have even looked at a Days Inn.
Based on the price, I would have maybe looked at it, but I would have caught the quick reviews and said, "No way! I'm not even going to attempt this trash hole."
It was a trash hole. I mean, that is true.
I would say, usually, if I'm looking and I'm thinking I need something okay, I'll go with La Quinta. They're okay.
I don't even know the last time I looked at a La Quinta. I'm sorry though. I could have booked like the Hilton or something a little fancier for you. I don't know. I don't even know a fancy hotel. Residence Inn, maybe.
Resident Inn. As I think it's ridiculous that you consider me bougie just because I want to be able to sit down on a couch and not be worried about getting stuck by some dirty needle.
Okay, I mean, there were no official broken needles in that couch. Just you're being a bit crazy on that.
Okay. Well, did you sit on it? So you know.
God, no. I wasn't about to sit on that nasty ass couch.
I didn't even want to put my bag on it.
I will say I didn't put a bag on it either. We put them on like the table. I think that was the first time in my life too that I've actually checked a bed for bed bugs, and I've never done that in a hotel. And I'm sure you listeners are like, why didn't you just cancel it and go somewhere else? I'm like, I don't have a good answer for you other than my choice was I'm just gonna go down to the bar. Let me know when you get into town. I'm gonna have a drink to deal with this.
I tend to be, well, if I've already paid for something, at that point, I'm just like, I will, I guess, just bite the bullet because I'm not going to eat the money, you know?
Right. It's not like we saw cockroaches. We didn't actually see cockroaches.
We didn't see a big cock or anything.
No, we did not see that either. And I checked the shower curtain. There was no mold, so it was usable. And we already checked there was no bed bugs. So it was, but it was bad. So
we weren't really going to be in the hotel room a lot. We were going to be there, just really for sleeping purposes was it. Other than that, during the day, we were out the whole time. We were over at our niece's house or we were over at our nephew's house. We literally went into the hotel room just to lay down and sleep. And our niece gave us a bunch of pillows and blankets and things
and towels.
To make it. And towels. so that we wouldn't be so nasty.
So yeah.
I just also have to think, even the customers before us that stayed in that hotel room, they tried to give us a warning in the mirror. Whenever the mirror fogged up, it said they don't clean.
So the first time you got out of the shower, and you're like, there's something written on this mirror. I'm like, really? That's weird. And yeah, so I made sure to get in the shower, and then we just fogged that bathroom up as good as we could to then see that what they had written on there was they don't clean. The secret message.
Yeah, it wasn't a secret. It wasn't a secret. We already knew at that point. They don't clean in here. They definitely haven't put any kind of new furniture in here in, I don't know, 50 years.
The hole in the couch and everything. So I'm going to go with a general. I tend to check reviews. I clearly don't read them super in depth by any means at that point.
Right. I'm a big review checker, especially with hotels. I will say, especially with hotels, because that's where I'm going to be staying. And I just like to be feeling clean, is all. Not bougie.
Fair.
I like to feel clean.
Fair. And I will say, I've learned after that experience, like I will for sure be checking hotel reviews, because that was one of those to go in there and actually check for bed bugs. I was like, well, this is a whole new level of like crappy hotel that I stayed at. So I will, from now on, I will definitely be checking reviews a little bit more, especially for hotels.
I was just going to say, for me though, I'll look at the really negative ones because it's kind of funny to me. Like the super pissed off ones, sometimes, you know, you're going to have the really negative ones and then you're going to have the really positive ones. And I like to try to balance those out.
I agree, because I think on a general basis, when it does come to reviews, that's all you're getting is either people who are extremely happy with their service or the room or something like that, or people who are super pissed off. A lot of times with the pissed off ones, I kind of can read into that at times and realize that that person might have just been having a bad day, or they're looking for a little handout or a freebie from management. So they're leaving these crappy reviews that are sometimes so far-fetched. You're like, what the hell? Like, come on, that did not happen. What I do find funny is I've noticed a little bit, probably over the past, like, I don't know, maybe 6 years, I don't really recall, but where management is not putting up with some of those crappy reviews anymore. Have you seen those posts sometimes where it's like the management is calling out the customer who's like, I had the worst service ever and they were rude, and the manager will be like, you came in 5 minutes before close. We told you you needed to order right away. You still waited 15 minutes. My staff stayed, continued to serve you food, let you hang out, and then you threw a fit or something like that. Like at the end when they were like, here's your to-go box, is kind of, it's 30 minutes past closing. Can you get out? And, you know, so I think it's funny when you see people call them out on crap like that, when they're trying to be like, oh, this is the worst place in the world to go. It's like, no, it's not.
Yes, those places. So some people, they're just looking for handouts. I will say though, on that hotel, I'm just saying there were no 5-star reviews. There were none for me to look at.
Hey, I don't.
I just want to make sure it's really clear to our listeners. There were none. Every review was, this place stinks. This place has roaches. This place has bed bugs. So when I did call Charlie and she says, I don't know if I should warn you about this, I said, is there cockroaches? Is that what you need to warn me about? She said, no.
Because you did read that review. I'm like, no cockroaches. Everything's fine. There's not even bed bugs.
So we felt like we must have got the super superior suite because there was no bed bugs, no cockroaches. And it wasn't stinky. It wasn't that
It did not stink. The hallway stunk, but our room did not stink.
Yeah.
So maybe we got this premier suite.
The premier suite, indeed.
You know, you say this, and now all of our listeners are never going to trust my Google reviews from now on because they're going to assume I don't even know what I'm talking about. I swear. I will check hotel reviews from now on, though. For the most part.
You know, I almost never leave a review for anything, even if I'm super happy.
Oh, really?
I don't. I don't.
I like to when I'm super happy because it hasn't happened in a while, but it's sometimes nice because depending on how big of a company you might work for or something, you can actually get that shout out from the owners who are like, hey, dude, you got an awesome review. Like, way to go. Saw your name popped up on Google. So I don't know. I like to when I get but it's got to be really good service. If it's just normal, what I consider good service, I'm not going to go leave a review. But when I feel like it's above and beyond, then I like to leave a review on that.
I can see the idea behind leaving a good review, mostly because I know at my restaurant job, they hang up if you get like 100% review. They'll hang that up on the board and they refresh them like every time. Every time somebody gets a new one. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So if you get a good review, it's just kind of nice and everybody can see it. So that's That's nice. And I do know there's some places where reviews are used, or I don't know if so much it's a review or just a survey, but if they're getting surveys, they will base bonuses and things like that off of surveys.
Yeah, and you know, I won't normally fill out surveys. That's a rare one for me, unless it's, again, super good or super negative experience. If it's just typical, I don't like to do the surveys. I find them kind of annoying. I was thinking about two things, though. One is that the more reviews you get for like your Google, the higher your business will pop up on business pages when you're getting searched. So then the more Google reviews you get, the better, right? So you have a lot of businesses are out there saying, hey, please leave us a review. Please leave us a review. I did also have, and this is my second part, a while back I had this company come out and give me a quote on some drywall stuff. And when he was leaving, he was like, I said, I don't know if I'm actually going to use your service or not, but I appreciate the information. And the guy says, awesome. Would you mind leaving me a review? But can you make sure you mention my name? I get a bonus the more Google reviews I get with my specific name. He was nice. He answered my questions. I'm like, sure, I'll go help you get a bonus. Like, it's not affecting me at all. It's going to take 2 minutes out of my day to go leave you a review. And if it's going to help you maybe get some extra cash in your pocket, why wouldn't I go do that? So those are two things too that can push reviews, right? Of businesses pushing them, and then if you can get a bonus on it. So obviously those people are only going to ask for the good ones, which again, I'm all about. If it's good service and stuff, I'm all about leaving the review anyway.
Yes. And but you know, back to those really angry reviews, the problem with those is they are wild. Again, I work at a restaurant. I've seen somebody get fired over one bad review. And this review was absolute ridiculousness.
They got fired on one review.
Fired.
Like
one
the
review.
owners take it that seriously that they just assume the customer was right, because that seems insane to me. Oh my gosh.
And the guy that got
the
fired,
customer's not always right.
In my experience, customer service related, the customer is almost rarely right. I hate to be that person, but give it a rest. I mean, come on. And so this particular review, yeah, he got fired. And the guy, he's always been a good server. I had never seen him do anything. And this review, I wish I could remember exactly how it went, but the things that they were saying he was doing at a table, I thought, no way. He would not do that. But bad review, you got fired. Now, granted, it's a restaurant, and you know that there's 100 server jobs. Like, the minute you lose one, you can go pick up a new one.
I don't disagree, but that would suck because it's going to look bad on you of, hey, why did you leave your last job? I got fired for a bad review. Now, if the company has a reputation, then probably the other restaurants around there are aware of that and will be like, oh, yeah, we heard they do that. So we don't even care about that part of it. Yeah. Otherwise tell us what's going on. But that would be hard because like even obviously like in this conversation, that tends to happen more in a restaurant situation, right? For both of us.
Yes.
When that review could happen. And if my job was based on that, there was a day where someone's like, I'm going to send this. She was taking video of me, saying like, you got to leave this restaurant. Like, you need to get out of here. You're done. And I'm going to send this video and I'm going to get you fired. And I just kept checking because I was in my head thinking, please post the video because it's going to show what a dumbass you were. So please post it and let my owners know that I was doing my job properly. I appreciate that. Because there are times where I'm like, you have gone too far. And that's just insane. Yes. There are other times where I might just not be having the best day. And I could see someone saying something, I don't know. I've never had it happen that I know of. But someone maybe being like, oh, this person was rude. And I'd be like, okay, I was having a really shit day that day and I was doing my best to smile. But in that particular job, you can't just call in because you're like not feeling it or you're having a really down day or something. You can't call in, so you just kind of have to show up. So you just do your best to smile as much as you can and get through your shift, but sometimes you're not smiling. And so those are hard ones if someone's going to like judge you on one bad day like that, right? Then my day job though, like we started sending out for our customers, like when we would do a pickup, like, hey, give us a review. What do you like about working with us? So many awesome reviews. But those people deal with me either just on the phone or via email. And so they were happy to give that shout out because they don't have to look at my face when I'm my face will judge what is ever happening.
My face can't be quiet.
It's the same. So there's difference in reviews where you're face to face with the customer, and perhaps obviously differences when you're not.
I wish sometimes that I could give a server review on a customer. So I had a customer one time, I kid you not, she had put all her stuff in to-go boxes. So I went to go grab her empty plates, right? Because it's called pre-bussing. That's what most servers do. I go to grab her plates. No joke. She slapped my hand and told me to get away.
Insane.
I thought, who are you? What are you doing putting your hands on somebody in public? Now,
seriously,
I kept my cool. I walked away. My hostess was standing right there when it happened, and she looked at me. She said, did that really just happen? I said, it did, and I'm going to walk away from this, and I really can't deal with that table right now. And this customer was telling my manager at this point. Now she wants to talk to the manager.
Good. I love it when that happens.
About how horrible of a server I've been. And so my hostess goes to get the manager and she explains the situation to her. And so then the manager's talking to the customer and the manager said, did you hit my server? And she said, I gave her a little slap on the hand. And then my manager like, you can't hit my servers. Imagine.
How does someone feel okay with that? I just hit her because she cleared my empty plate. Like, what is your problem? Like, you don't get to just touch people. That's insane.
Yeah.
That reminded me.
She did make sure to leave a review about how bad I was. And the only thing that probably saved my job was the fact that I got hit by a customer and the manager knew it.
Could you imagine if you got fired up for that? That you got a bad review. You're like, the customer hit me, so that's cool. Like, thanks, love it.
Yes.
It's crazy. So I am not going to remember exactly how it went, but it was years ago. A friend and I were talking about making a server, like an app for servers that you can go on there and you can do exactly that. Leave reviews on your customers. So obviously you'd need to be working in kind of like the same area and people would have to know them. But even though I'm out here in Arizona and I'm in the Phoenix area, it's a big city, but it's got a lot of little towns. So you could say, oh, so-and-so that drinks the Bud Light bottles. And they're like, oh, him. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hey, 5 stars. He's a great customer. You get the ones. Like, because I work the one day a week, I tend to forget stuff sometimes. And I'll be like, this person seems so familiar. So I'll ask my other bartender, I'm like, is that so? She's like, yes. She goes, but remember, I'm like, oh, no, I remember. Like, they seemed rude, but they're seriously just quiet people and they tip fat. I'm like, yes. Or it'll be like, they seem nice at first, but they are real assholes as you keep going. I'm like, I remember. Don't worry. And we're like, how cool if you had an app as a server. It could be like, let's see if that person's got a review. Okay, yeah, I already know. Because I can't tell you how many times it's like you give like your 10-star, like their drinks are on the table before they even all get sat down because they order the same drinks every week. Or this was years ago when I was doing this full time. And I remember at one point this table they would just stiff me, and it was a table of 6, and I was getting them every single week, same day. And I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, your iced teas are here, you never run out, her Dr. Pepper is ready to go, all my stuff is set up on the table for you for when you order your food. They wouldn't tip me, and so I just hit a point where I was like, I'm gonna refuse to serve them.
Yeah.
Sure enough, they got another girl. They loved her. They would tip her 23%. I don't know. They just didn't like me. Which is strange to me. I don't know who wouldn't like my service.
That is wild.
I know. Weird. But I have had that happen where it's like some people just like other people better. I mean, that does happen. But how cool would that be if you could get on there and be like, oh, this people, like, yeah, no. Because especially if they're going to go, they leave those reviews or whatever. It's like, I don't even trust your judgment because you can see this. Or if you've ever looked at someone's Google review and they'll say, oh, they've reviewed like 7 other places, and you hit, oh, let me see all their reviews. Every single one's negative. Seeing a little trend there.
See a trend. Well, and what about, and we've had it happen, I'm sure you've seen it happen, where they take pictures of the servers who've been cut and are sitting around rolling silverware. And so then you get a review about how the servers are sitting around and not doing their job. Ma'am, you have no idea what I've been doing all day, and now I need to roll silverware so that if you come in here later, there's silverware on your table. That's my job right now.
Exactly. And then as we're having this conversation, it's dawning on me a little bit more too of, if I'm on Amazon, I'll leave a review, like if a product is what I thought it was or something, like I'll leave those reviews. And on Amazon, when you do read reviews, they're hardly ever negative to that point. And then same with a lot, not all businesses, obviously, but a lot of businesses. It's something with the restaurant industry that people get really mean on their reviews.
They do. But hey, do you remember we were staying in that really crappy hotel that you found us?
Oh.
But we ate that really great meal because who checked the reviews and found us a good meal?
We did.
Yes.
We did choose our restaurant based on a good review. I also found one of the coolest bars in Houston based on a review, and it was in walking distance.
And you made a new best friend.
I did. Shout out to my girl. She knows who she is. That was one of the best dive bars I've ever been in.
But I will also say, now we've talked a lot about the service industry and hotels and things like that, and you did, though, comment a little bit about your day job, and so let me comment a little on my day job as a teacher.
Now, you don't get reviews, do you? At schools?
You're joking, right? All those state test scores, that is where you're going to find your school grade card.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So it's not a Google review.
Right.
It's the way that the kids best. That's an unfair review.
Unfair review. I'm telling you, I absolutely find state testing ridiculous anyways. And then to base how a school's doing just on the state testing, I can't stand it. But that is the kind of things that parents will look at to pick where their kids go into school.
That's it. Oh gosh, is it Albert Einstein that quoted that you can't judge? How's that quote? Like, you can't judge a fish by how high it can climb a tree. I think that'd be the hard for the school, like that state testing thing. I think it goes along those same lines. I mean, there's something to be said, I suppose, like if you're way far down, like at the very bottom and all the grades are crap, then maybe think about that. But
well, maybe think about what's going on at home and if they're getting any help there and how educated the parents are and things like that as well, though. And as a teacher, they'll break it down to by class size, like by classroom. How much growth has your class had in this area? How much growth has your class had in this area? To break it down on the teacher's part. And that stuff gets looked at in order to keep your job.
I could see that. That'd be rough.
It is.
Because that's something that you can only have so much control over.
Yeah.
Like, as you said, it's, how much are the parents helping them at home? How much are they putting in while they're in the classroom, or does the kid care? And I guess with the grade you teach the kids, they're just kids, so they don't care. But say you get in the middle to high school, those kids might not give a crap about school. So then they're not trying. And so that'd be really hard. Thankfully, like for, my day job, it's just we get it. Hey, kudos, like, way to go. Like, you got a good review. Great job. And I don't think we've ever had a bad one on there. I mean, we did one time, but that was someone looking to just be an asshole, basically. But we're not judged on them in a way of, we don't get in trouble if we don't get reviews. I could imagine if we got a bad review, like maybe having a little talk, like, hey, what's going on here? But we don't have that problem there. But thankfully, we're not judged on them either. So it's just the good ones are acknowledged and the bad ones are taken with the owner looking at them and realizing what, like, the bigger picture, right? The whole concept of what was happening.
I mean, granted, sometimes those reviews can come in and the bad reviews, hopefully there's some, constructive criticism there that can be useful, but I would say 9 times out of 10, it's just somebody's angry.
Yeah. And sometimes that angry person might have just been having a bad day. It's not even they're necessarily angry at you in particular or the place of business. They're just in general pissed off at the world that day and want to make sure someone else feels the same anger they have.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I will say our lesson learned and growth earned on this: reviews. Read them, but take them with a grain of salt because it is all based on others' opinions. And if they were having a bad day, that review could have been misconstrued. I will always stand on the thought that if you have a great experience, leave the review. And unless it's just beyond bad, hotel room, yes, I left one. But unless it's beyond bad, just leave it alone. Because why ruin someone else's day unless it's extremely warranted?
Or possibly get somebody fired from their job.
Yes, exactly.
In our next episode, we're going to explore building communities. You're going to get our hot take on it. Thanks for listening. Until next time, go out there and be your favorite self.
And if you have a topic you would like us to discuss in a future episode, leave a comment, send us an email at adulthoodisaproject@gmail.com, and like and subscribe to catch all of our future episodes.